on to our next speaker. He's Mr. Akbar Ladak. He's Senior Consultant and Technology Evangelist at the CTO office at Wipro Limited. Over a course of a career spanning a decade, Akbar has been a software developer, research engineer, technical architect, and a technology consultant. Currently, he is responsible for evangelizing cutting-edge solutions and technologies around big data, analytics, mobility, and web science to solve critical business problems. Prior to his current role, Akbar led Wipro's business in new media technologies for emerging markets and was a lead architect for large-scale solutions in telecom and media. Akbar holds an MS in Electrical Engineering from Georgia Institute of Technology, and today he'll be talking about big data. So please welcome Mr. Akbar Ladak of Wipro.
This one? This was slightly forward and reverse. Thanks.
So thanks, Giri, for the wonderful introduction. And I'm from Wipro, and the good part of being in Wipro in this setting is that you don't have to introduce the company. So that's what it is. I'll just tell you a few statistics. $7 billion. We work with virtually everybody who is represented out here, at some point have worked in the past. The idea that and we do, as you know, system integration, managed services, technology consulting. I'm from the CTO office, and there is, so I'm not going to talk about, the regular business of Wipro, the managed IT services, the technology consulting, the system integration. We have done, us well in that regard. What I'm here to talk about is specific technologies that are going to be extremely crucial in terms of the way forward in IT. And so I'm going to talk about big data, and tell you what do people mean by big data, what kind of big data is going to come rolling down at us like a tsunami. So let me get started. So welcome to the future, right? The future of IT is dictated by the future of the world. So what is the future of the world going to be like? The future of the world is flat. There are I'll be quoting some statistics that Wipro is working on currently in terms of customer requirements in the Indian context. This is not in the Western markets. In the Indian context, 14 billion biometric matches per second. This is a requirement that a customer has given us, and we have to achieve that by 2015. Just imagine, 14 billion biometric matches per second. So the future is flat. Many people are entering the economic mainstream. People are getting an identity using which they can, apply for various or become a part of the economic life cycle of the company, of the country. And that itself, economic transformation is going to bring a lot of new data to us. So whether you are from a healthcare industry or a telecom industry or a retail industry, the growth part that you have already seen so far is going to continue to grow dramatically. The future is connected. I'm from a telecom background, so I've quoted a statistic from there. But this is again a real requirement. We are talking about 85 query resolution and inquiry calls at a data center every day. And the customer has asked us to provide individual level targeting to those calls coming in. 85 million calls a day. Just try and get your heads around that. And the amount of complexity that would go into such a system and giving the recommendations on a real-time basis is something that we are currently designing solutions for. The future is intelligent. There are more sensors and more devices than ever before. I wish I could talk to you about working for an F1 car, but we are not there yet. But the idea is that an F1 car has more sensors, and there are more sensors and more devices than ever before. In a car, for example, there are several systems right now that work as a computer. It has more power than the computers that we worked on during our college days in the 80s and 90s. So that is again going to bring about a transformation in the data world. And the future is resource constrained. So although all this data is coming at us, our budgets are not going to rise that dramatically. In fact, they will not rise for many years, for some years at least. Talent will be a constraint. And ecology, like my last speaker said, will definitely be a constraint. How we can get around that is a challenge that all of us need to think about. So the future of data. A tsunami of data is coming in. I think you would have heard about these statistics. 2 zettabytes of data, which is that 2 and number of zeros, gigabytes of data, is going to be created by organizations worldwide by 2020. What we need then is a solution that is web scale, that is based on modular, so you can increase it as you go along. You don't have to pay for the entire solution upfront, and it is low cost. So web scale, when you say a solution is web scale, it has to be validated by people who do business on a web scale. So is it being used by the web pioneers of today, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Yahoos, the LinkedIns, etc. So we are working with technology that has been validated by those people. It needs to be open standards and preferably open source. So you do not tie yourself up to one technology. There are always multiple vendors, option of multiple vendors out there to support that technology. So again, that is a requirement that you have to take care of when you're dealing with large quantities of data that are coming on your way. So your data warehousing system, for example, will see a tremendous pressure to provide solutions and business value and deal with the explosion of data that is coming in. Are your solutions are open standards, and or are you tying yourself up with one vendor? Low-cost hardware. Are you, again, this is again a thing that goes around the proprietary route. If you tie yourself up with one technology, then that vendor has more control over your strategy than you would want him to have. You would probably not get enough options. So can you increase your capacity based on open standards and commodity hardware, or do you tie yourself with a proprietary hardware or a proprietary vendor? And is it modular? Can you easily increase your capability as you want to go along? So essentially, we are working with a solution called as Hadoop. I just want to see a show of hands. How many people know about Hadoop out here? Okay, barely, maybe about 2% of the crowd. So excellent, this gives me a chance to introduce the Hadoop stack. The Hadoop is a technology that is that was developed and that was in Yahoo, and then carry forward in various Yahoo offshoots like Hortonworks and Cloudera. This is a technology that is also used in Google. It is used at Facebook. And it is used in all the various, companies that when you go and open a web browser and type in a URL, you are actually using this technology, but you just don't know that you're using it. And the idea is that there are Mark Andreessen, for example, digressing a little bit, had said that if he funded Facebook, for instance, and Mark Andreessen said that if Facebook had to go with the proprietary hardwares that were available 5 or 7 years ago, and we know all, what those proprietary hardware are. It would have never become a viable business. 500, 700 million subscribers going each day and spending close to 30, 35 minutes on the site and checking on their mobile phones and exchanging messages and wall posts and likes and whatnot would never have been possible if it were not for Hadoop. So this is what we are talking about. We are talking about massive parallelism. It's a parallel system, so you can have hundreds or thousands of nodes which you can put in. The framework will let you run Linux on those boxes. And even Windows is coming up with the support for the, Microsoft is coming up with the support for the Hadoop stack with Windows. Commodity hardware and modular framework. And then over that, you have a lot of different open source frameworks that you can use for data analysis, visualization, and the like. So it has the ability to handle different types of data. Now, structured data is something that we all are very familiar with. We know databases. We have dealt with databases. That is our bread and butter as IT people. But most of the data that is collected right now, whether it is video data or it is machine-to-machine data, which my colleague, my ex-colleague would talk about in probably next session, and documents that are being captured by people, by individuals, by teams, those things do not fit well in a structured database environment, the RDBMS of the world, the SQL type technologies of the world. So what we need is a solution that handles different kinds of data. So there are 3 different types that Wipro has internally, or the CTO team in Wipro has internally decided that we need to support. Those are structured, unstructured, and streamed data. So there are, I'll just go through a couple of our offerings, and these are just a snapshot of what we are offering in solutions around big data for various use cases that are out there. So big data and customer outreach, right? What is the end user context? Whether you're a bank or a retail store or a healthcare institution or a telecom company, you need to know things about your end user. You want to know what is the value he or she is providing to your organization. What is his or her identity? Is he or she discontent with your service? What is her social profile? Who influences him or her? Does she influence other people? Can you use that influence to get other people buy into your product? And immediacy. How soon can you reach her when she makes a decision about something that affects her relationship with your company? Those are the things that everybody wants to know about, but unfortunately, they don't get to know about. So what we have a solution for is this is a snapshot of the solution, Wipro Delight. It's essentially a solution that takes in the various parameters that I showed out here and aggregates it and provides real-time data for various enterprise representatives. Those representatives can be in a retail store, they can be in a call center, they can be responding to people via IM, instant messaging, or email. They can be business analysts who want to know what specific niche segments can I target, and and the top management who want to identify a trend where they can identify opportunities or threats coming their way based on certain historical information about their inputs. So you have a lot of different kinds of people who buy your product. Can you give the right message to each customer at each touch point, powered by your lowest level employees, the people in the retail store, the people in the retail bank location, the call center agent when he or she is answering the call, and when they have only a split of a second to say the right message or lose the customer. Then we have something for advanced analytics and M2M. And this is something that we are doing for, we have cases for security appliance, security use cases for healthcare, and also for BFSI, banking, financial institutions, and insurance companies. What does this do? So you have a lot of different types of data: administrative data, utilization, claims. Those are mainly structured data. Then you have end user data, which may or may not be in a structured context, which are typically in the CRM, but also in other places. You have equipment data. All manufacturing people, manufacturing industries, and almost every industry uses equipment. You have data coming to you which is from the manufacturer of the equipment, and there are alerts and other things coming in. There's material information. If you're a manufacturing company, you use certain chemicals, you use certain other materials for your manufacturing processes, and that is something that can come in as an unstructured data. And you have the remote data. Nowadays, customers take a piece of your business home, whether it is an healthcare industry where Wipro is pioneering a sort of a necklace, ECG necklace, which a patient can take home and monitor and the doctor can remotely monitor his or her health even when she is at home. The advantage is obviously is that the patient doesn't utilize the bed. The monitoring remains. You can always give a call to the passenger, to the patient, so that he or she may come to the hospital if there's something wrong, and various other kinds of things. So that is one of the things. People are going towards mobile banking, towards ordering retail stuff online, and the like. So the consumer equipment data is no longer is very important to capture, and is no longer available in the ecosystem, IT ecosystem that organizations are used to. What we do out here is essentially we provide a HDFS. HDFS is essentially a Hadoop distributed file system. We provide the Hadoop layer for historical data and trend analysis, and then provide additional layer on top of that for identifying trends and predicting alerts. This is important because typically, for example, we are dealing with a use case for a customer wherein the customer wants to reduce the downtime of their servers or their IT equipments whenever a call happens. So we are helping them with that issue. We are also helping them with taking in information from disparate data sources, weather information, power outages, and saying that how they need to make their IT strategy in such a way that these external circumstances they can take advantage of if they are positive towards the client, or they are protected against if they have a detrimental effect to the client. And doing this, you can identify best practices, which other people and other experts are exploring on the web. You can identify trends in end user population. You can personalize services for very niche subsets. You can ensure that quality is recorded in outcomes, and people in your organization are rewarded for that quality. And you can increase asset utilization because you don't need to invest in more asset if you can utilize them efficiently. And that goes back to the ecology and limited and the green way of IT and living out there. So this is, I'll not spend time out here, but this is something that we have developed for the security use case. We are currently using it for a use case for that does about 15,000 face recognition per day. Obviously, this is scalable. and over the next few quarters, we hope to scale it to close to about 100K users a day. Again, the thing that I want to emphasize is that we are committed to use open standards. So today, if you don't like tomorrow, if you don't like the technology, you can always find a vendor for that technology going forward. That's all I have for you today, and I hope to see you over the next 2 days and interact with you and see what we can do together. Thank you.